Hello?
Guys.
Hello. Are we
We're
live?
fucking back. It's BarTalk. And if you hear a male voice, it's Cornelius.
me.
He's back. Part 2.
I'm in frame.
You are in
so.
frame.
Oh yeah, I can see it through the reflection.
Can you really see it?
Yeah.
Am I in frame?
Am I in frame?
What? I
Has
was
to be
making sure.
seen.
Has to.
So you want me to tell you my series of unfortunate events?
Yes, because we only have
Of why?
40 minutes.
All right, no, I have to tell you this. This is fucking crazy. So, of course, I'm late because I'm always late. But listen.
Yeah.
Listen, okay. We're working out with the rest of the crew. I'm like, I have to get out of here. Class is at 5:30. I'm on the ski erg. I'm like, bussing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to vomit. I vomit. I come back. I'm like, that was great.
You always throw up.
I don't know. I was just like bussing on the ski. So I was just like, had a lot of like acid
Bussin'?
reflux going on.
Bussin'.
Yeah, it was bussing. So I'm on the ski and like, you know, you're hauling ass with 1,600 meters. I throw up, I come back. Barry gives me a purple Gatorade. Worst thing of my life. I go, I throw up again. Sounds great. Drew's like, hey, come meet. I'm like, okay, I got to leave, right? Meanwhile, I'm in the gym for like over 2.5 hours now because I've been there since 4:30. Class was at 5:30.
Right.
So Drew calls me in the office. We're talking about something. I can't even think because I can't even breathe. I have no idea what the fuck he said. So if Drew's watching this, I don't know what the fuck you said to me for the last half hour. I was not paying attention at all.
Okay.
So Drew's talking to me. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. So him and Barry walk off, right? I go outside. My car is running. Has been running the entire time I was at the gym. I never turned my car off. I lost almost a full fucking tank of gas.
Okay. I have 100% done that before.
Then my
She's
phone
talking
dies.
about, by the way, for those who aren't listening, her workout at Momentum, and she got pulled aside to talk to our boss, Drew, and she's talking about Barry, who is her coworker. For everyone who doesn't know who the fuck we are, welcome. Anyways, carry on with your story. So you left your car on.
I left my car on. I literally just bought a full tank of gas on my way to the gym. I'm completely out of gas. My phone's dead. I cannot find my debit card anywhere. I'm like, this is so cool. I happen to have a $20 bill in my wallet. I go to get gas. Then I go to Publix because my phone's dead. I asked him to get me food. I was like, wow, I'm fucked. I need to eat before we do this podcast. I walk into the Publix. I'm standing in line. I'm like, I can't text anybody. This is awesome. Okay. I have like $10 left. I go in and grab this fucking sandwich from the Publix line. Girl in front of me punches her boyfriend in the face. The boyfriend comes back at her, punches her in the face. And I'm like, hey, I have to record a podcast. So like, can I get in front of you guys?
Oh my God.
And leave. So they start literally fighting in line, actually brawling. And I'm just standing there like with this fucking sandwich and a bag of popcorn. There's like, so like, there's one line open of all of Publix. And my luck right now, there's one line open. So I literally like squeeze through.
There's no self-checkout?
No.
Why?
No. I don't know. Because it was the Publix over by right here by the gym.
Yeah.
No self-checkout, one line open. That they're literally fighting in line, like where you get all the candy and stuff. I literally like squeezed by them and I was like, can you please just fucking like check me out? Because I have to go record this podcast or Abigail's going to fucking have my head.
Yeah,
and then
I am.
So here's my sandwich. That was my last hour.
That's a great.
See, that's why I didn't
I got a tattoo.
I got here and Abigail's like, I have to leave at 8. And I'm like, you don't know what's been going on for the last hour.
Yeah. No, I saw you at the gym. That's it.
She's that person that's like, my dog ate my homework, but like she always has an actual legitimate fucked up like my dog ate my homework reason that she's late. I have the
worst luck ever.
Wait, so so you just left Publix?
Yeah, so wait.
They were just fighting.
Are they good? I have
no fucking idea. I left.
Yeah,
who won?
They were still fighting when I was there.
Okay.
They were still fighting. Like literally, wasn't paying attention to anything. I was so like blacked out just trying to get here because I knew that you were gonna fucking kill me. So I literally was like trying to run to get here, and literally the next thing I know, this girl just like hooks her boyfriend in the face. Closed fist.
Damn.
The guy turned around and whapped her right in the face, and I was like, "Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me,
dude!" And he didn't even knock her out.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
No,
what a fucking pussy puncher, bro! At least knock the bitch out, bro.
That's a no-go.
I'm literally sitting there with like half a hoagie, like this is not my life right now. Okay. I'm like, is this fucking serious?
Welcome back to BarTalk, Cornelius.
Yeah, thank you guys.
How do you feel?
That's my sister. She always runs into the most random shit ever.
How do you feel? Put on your headset.
Oh.
Put on your headset. And
yeah, I feel like the odd one out. But I feel like the cool
you
one.
are the only one who's actually a legitimate podcaster right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Okay.
So I actually have no idea what the agenda is today, so I'm gonna let you guys take it away. I know it's obviously social media oriented and some AI stuff going on here, but
AI's taking over the fucking world.
Yeah, well, but there was a debate. Tracy said that you guys were having a debate.
Yeah, we got into a serious argument.
I probably will agree with you and not Tracy because Tracy's in denial about everything.
I'm not in denial. I just get uncomfortable at things. I want to get uncomfortable about things. I just decide not to think about them.
Yeah, it starts to give her anxiety. It starts to give her anxiety, and she just can't talk about it.
Yeah. So okay, you got to explain what.
Okay, so basically,
wait. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's go over ChatGPT.
We have to
go over that.
AI stuff.
AI. Yeah. Okay. So AI, artificial intelligence. If you didn't know that, and there's a new software that came out about a month ago, and it's called ChatGPT. A lot of people think it's called ChatGPT. GBT. I don't know why, but it's ChatGPT. Okay. And it's basically an artificial intelligence server or online website that's like Google. And me and Tracy got in an argument about it because it's scary. Mm-hmm. And the scary thing about it is it's super easy to use. And how do I say that is the AI is like you're talking to a person.
Give her an example.
So, for example, you can write in the AI software, write me an 8-week program for a bodybuilder who wants to compete in an advanced bodybuilding show in 8 weeks. And it would take about 3 minutes. And in 3 minutes, it would be like, okay, here's but it will say, here is a sample workout. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say here's a specific. It says here's a sample workout of an 8-week program for a bodybuilder who wants to train for a bodybuilding show. And it literally would type out an 8-week program. And it's not bad. And it's really good. It's like legit.
Legit.
Okay.
So it culminates basically all of the information that it's found throughout the internet with other programs.
Yes.
And it makes something that's reasonable. Well, this goes down to the debate, which is like, and I've heard other podcasts talking about that, is like, will the world need trainers one day? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was only because experience trumps all. Right. But
online coaching though might just fucking.
Yeah, online coaching might definitely go away, but I feel there's always those people out there in the world that like hands-on and someone always telling them what to do. But there's also those people that don't really like people telling them what to do and just still want structure, but they don't want it specifically from a person. They would rather go on like a website like bodybuilding.com and look at their programs there and just follow that, or follow like Jason Blaha's 5x5 program and just follow that on their phone.
Do you think with society, like I've noticed with a lot of the younger kids growing up in this generation, they don't like talking to people. Mm-hmm. Like they don't. Like they'll DoorDash everything. They don't like going anywhere. Like they don't like communicating. Is that you or something?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just like people almost, especially when they're on social media all the time, like they're more comfortable behind a screen. Like that's their element. Mm-hmm. Mr. Beast was talking about it in his podcast with Lex Friedman. He was like, I feel so comfortable in front of a camera. I feel so uncomfortable in front of people. Yeah. He's like, and it's like it's just a weird thing
because that's what human experience.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if this generation will make the AI experience accelerate, and that's what will kind of fuck up the human experience, which is because they're less comfortable around humans. They're more comfortable around artificial things. They're more comfortable around, which that's freaky.
So like this is what my argument was, right? Okay, so and I was just talking to Mac about this because we were talking about his kids, right? Okay. Like his
kids. Can you explain
who
people are?
Mac is somebody.
I know. I have to explain.
Sorry.
I'm like, okay.
I'm like. Totally, am I? Mac is somebody that we train. He's on the Flocker team, and Abigail also personal trains him. Okay. Hi, Mac. So we were talking about his kids because his kids are of the age of, like, they're still writing essays and shit. Like, they're in school. They're, like, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And so we were joking, and we were like, okay, we'll just tell them to go write an essay and I went and researched, like, it does take the best of the internet and we'll write an essay for you. But, like, let's say the kid's in 5th grade or something, right? You can go on this chat and you can say, write me a 6-page essay
For a
in
fifth
MLA
grader?
format about World War II in 5th grade writing. Boom. 3 minutes, 6-page essay, MLA
But-
with citations. And if you copy and paste it in any plagiarism website, it is not plagiarized at all.
Oh, see, that's what I was going to
So
say.
the problem to me, and what my argument is like, have you ever heard of people say it's like the dumbing down of America? It's like you are no longer thinking for yourself. You're no longer doing your own research. You're no longer reading books. You're no longer going on the internet and finding like, instead of, you remember when we were kids and we first came about the internet and they were like, don't look at the first link that you see. Actually go and research and find which one is
We can make
legitimate.
this argument now, though. The internet is so out there, right? Google has been there for so around that Google, right, is based on the most popular searches. And Google now is based on you can pay to be on the first page, or you can pay to be on the first link, or you can pay that, right? So basically Google is like a library that you have to go in and you have to go and do your own research to actually come out with your own knowledge. That this chat AI is like you go in and you're talking to a robot who's just talking to you as a person, and you don't have to do your own research. And the arguments me and Tracy had were we were talking about online coaching, for example, and she was like, so you think you can just sell like an 8-week program that this chat AI writes? She was like, why doesn't everyone do that? I was like, why doesn't everyone research their own workouts? Why doesn't everyone create their own personal workouts on their own anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes away your own thought process.
Also, I think there's a transition period when it comes to artificial intelligence. They're always the early adopters. They're the late adopters. Like with any innovative thing, you'll go to some sort of business class and they'll talk about like early adoption and late adoption. You know, like it's like the whole trend and how it filtrates through society. And this, I think, large in part goes to a more scary argument, or maybe for other people, an exciting argument, which is that the human mind is dying. Like, I genuinely think that the human brain is going to end up evolving out of society, and we're going to essentially rely on robots to be our brains until we become the robots themselves.
The robots become us.
Or the robots become
like the
us.
robots are going to become us.
Or the artificial intelligence. I feel like robot is such like a weird term, but until artificial intelligence and humans assimilate so closely that there is no difference,
right?
And that's the concept of Westworld.
But, thank you.
I mean,
hello,
well, yeah.
Mac. If you're listening to this, I literally just said that yesterday. I was like, "Have you guys ever seen West?" That is one of my biggest fucking fears. Is like when artificial intelligence becomes so smart that it doesn't know the difference, or it becomes to know the difference between itself and humans, and because they are more knowledgeable, they start to become having a mind of their own, and they become complacent in a human society, and then that's what ends up happening is like the end of
but that's
over.
The thing is they don't become
Westworld.
complacent. That's the problem, is that artificial intelligence not only understands the differentiation between human and non-human, and they understand that they are actually a more evolved version of human life, and then they begin to understand that it is their duty as artificial intelligence to change that.
I have a weird argument. I don't know if I totally agree with you that our human brain is dying, right? I actually think our human brain is, so smart that a lot of us just don't really understand the human brain, that it's actually going to evolve with the technology advances that are going to come out, and we are going to adapt with what's coming out, right? Because, for example, back in the day when the internet first came out, a lot of people just didn't use it, right? Like they didn't trust it. They're in the same spot that we are at talking about AI, how like, why do I need this? How do you trust this? What is this? Like, this is going to make us stupider and stuff like that. But over the years, people started to use the internet to involve themselves, to involve like their businesses, to advance everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Now we're at the point of, we're like, oh my gosh, this is just so far from reality of what we grew up in books and school and doing our own research, and how like easy this is, right? And we can't really come to the concept of how easy and how dumbed down this thing is, right? But I feel like over time, of when AI is getting used into like movies, commercials, future podcasts and stuff like this, our human brain is going to start to adapt with that. And then we're going to start to think past of, oh, this is scary, more like, oh, this is actually real life and we have to adapt.
Well, it's the newest form of it's the newer form of survival of the fittest, which is the fittest is now it's the brain is shifting. And so what's going to happen is people are either going to use artificial intelligence to become dumber and to become lazy, and they will die out. And then the newer evolved people who will use this artificial intelligence to become smarter, to have some sort of new innovative thing that they use to maybe assimilate themselves or further the human race. I think what it is like the present human brain is dying. That's what I really should have specified. It's like what a human will be 100 years from now is not. I think it's going to be exponentially different than what I am right now.
Oh, 100%.
And that's what's terrifying.
100%. Yeah. It's terrifying too, because you have to think like you said, it is right now even becoming survival of the fittest, especially with people's jobs. Like everything that you do now is online. And now that everybody is taking what AI is and they're getting into chat and they're realizing how they can use that to expand their businesses. Like imagine when people say that you only know 10% of the internet and how much black space there is out there that we just have no idea what it's even used for. Yeah. And like this has actually been around for a really long time, but now people are starting to know too much. And now people are starting to become part of the AI and use it to their advantage. And that's the scariest part.
AI has always been around.
People are going to use it for the wrong reasons.
AI has been around for the last, since I wouldn't say.
It's been around for a while.
A while. Like for example, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, right? There was that argument of like, oh my God, it's watching us. It knows what I'm talking about, or it knows I scroll and that's what I saw yesterday, or why is the content all the same, right?
Or you say something and then all of a sudden it populates.
AI reading your algorithm and reading like, okay, this is fitness content. AI, boom, let me put more fitness content into this person's feed and stuff like that.
Well, that's because they disguised the word AI with algorithm. That's all it was. Exactly. Is they used the word algorithm instead of artificial intelligence. Yeah. But it's just that's why people. It was scare people. And that's why everyone got freaked out when they would talk to CEOs of companies and ask them, well, what is the algorithm, and we don't understand it, and how do you and they look, all they could respond is like, it's too complicated for us, we don't understand it anymore either. There's no way for us to understand. That's why when it's so funny when you see people on Instagram be like, the algorithm's doing this, you don't know fucking shit about the algorithm.
Anything.
Because guess what, the people who created the algorithms don't know what the algorithms are doing.
I mean,
right
for
now.
example, we put into ChatGPT, it was like, what is the best times to post on Instagram stuff, and it wrote it gave us like this whole paragraph of like certain mornings or like certain different time zones or like stuff like that, but it didn't give us obviously like a specific like answer, because no one knows the algorithm, right? Like no one knows that the algorithm is you, like what you research, what you look up. The algorithm is like, if you're commenting on if you comment on 1,000 fitness pages or 1,000 people that have these hashtags, your profile will blow up, because Instagram knows that this is an active user commenting on thousands of profiles and stuff like that. And the AI algorithm picks you up and starts to blast you out there. That's why AI is scary. And we had like,
it makes you want to assimilate, though. It makes you this is where the addiction starts, is like people are like, well, what are we going to do? We have to get away from it. And it's like, there is no getting away from it, because it's an addiction. Why are you scrolling on TikTok all the time? Why do you not want to talk to humans? Why do you want to always be on fucking social media? It's like, because this is the future, bitch. And it's like, whether you like it or not, it's the future. This is what's going to happen, is there's going to be the people that just will not adopt it. They're the people that are going to say no, and they're going to go into the fucking woods, and they're going to be like, woodland people.
That's where we got in the argument. It was just like, because it scared her. These are books. And it was like, she was like, I was like, look at this. Like, because I was trying to talk to Tracy about it. I'm putting you on blast. Okay. Every time I talk to her about stuff that like I'm super interested at, and I know it's like kind of useful, when Tracy looks at it and she's like, she doesn't know right, but she's like, what the fuck is this? This is real life. It would just like, it gave her anxiety, and she doesn't want anything to do with it, right?
It's not, because like you have to think too, like I know I have so many negative things to think about it, or to say about it, but like what comes to my mind is like, one, the dumbing down of America, and two, you have to understand like what AI is right now, which is technically your algorithm. What everybody talks about and has been for the last couple of years is like, okay, what you see is typically what people believe, right? And that's not like genuine people putting that shit in front of your face. that's like the artificial intelligence that's technically your algorithm now is only showing you one side to every story. So like you have this huge division, right, in our country where it's like some people see this and some people see that, and it's because that's what populated on their algorithm. Like, and now you're getting into the nitty gritty of AI, which has the full fucking surface of the internet. And I can only imagine like what's going to end up happening to people and how they're not even going to be able to think for themselves. And that to me is scary as fuck.
Isn't that kind of the point, though?
No, it's disgusting.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
That is terrible.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It is petrifying.
I'm just saying, isn't that kind of the point, though?
No, it's all about control. But that's
exactly.
what I'm saying. Like, that's what's so fucked up about it.
Point, though?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what's so fucked up about it. And that's why I get so scared.
Tracy,
because
the world's
people
fucked
are like,
up.
But because people are sitting here and they're like, this is the best thing ever. Let me go on chat. Let me type in this. This is so much fun. And I'm like, y'all, this is not fun. This is fucked up. Like, you need to take a seat and be like, yo.
This is the thing is, what is your version of what's good and what's bad? Because if you think that what's good is the rapid evolution of society, then this is all a very good thing because this is the inevitable. Yeah. Now, and if you are saying I like the way I like humans, I like interacting with you. I'm in agreement with you on this, by the way, too. Like, I like humans, I like interacting with humans, I like what I see in the what I consider to be or perceive to be the real world, which is outside of technology and social media. And this is the way that I want it to be. And this is what I think is the most peaceful and beautiful part of the world that we live in now. Mm-hmm. And this technology shit is ruining everything. That's also fair, right? But it's probably not what is conducive to the evolution of what we now know as the human race.
We're gonna have to get our own fucking island.
We are a step. Well, this is it. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. We are a step. Move. We're a step along a long chain of new creatures that are going to exist.
That's where I really got in the mindset, and that's where we're different on this. Is like she's super freaked out about it, right? Because she like thinks it's the dummy down of America, right?
Well, it's scary.
It's scary, but I kind of realize that yes, everything's going to advance. The life that we lived when we were kids would never be the same. The years that 5 years ago would never be the same. Like everything is going to advance, and it's just where you have to adapt to it. If stuff really freaks you out and stuff, then don't involve it in what you do. But if it's something that is happening in the world and it's going to be big, like the internet, you're going to use it. Like those people that said back in the day that like, oh, I'm so scared or this about Google and stuff like that, they're using it. Why? Because either their job needs it, either they have to do some research, they're not going to go look, like they're going to use it.
Well, not for nothing. And that's why he's got all the followers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's all about the trend. Adapting. Yeah, it's all about adapting and shit.
This is
so like
the
you
point.
have to adapt to it, and the scariest. It's scary. Like you come to the realization, like this is scary.
You don't have to adapt to it, but it's like, the saying is like adapt or die. Like you have to evolve or die. Like you have to. And you don't.
No, for example, there are definitely people that just don't use phones. Like nowadays in age, like there's definitely people that just don't use the internet still. Like definitely don't use cell phones, don't use iPhones, mm-hmm. like don't use that. And there are people out there. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like for stuff that I'm in or like we're in or where I'm in at life,
you need it.
I know I'm gonna need it. I know that like if I want to like I don't know like explode in my businesses or like I want to do a bunch of businesses and ideas, like this is stuff I enjoy. I enjoy seeing the world advance, especially in technology.
And that's just the difference with people is like some people enjoy the peace of not being around technology. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like I think this generation is going to have the ability to live and die in that peace. Yeah. But a lot of the generations that are coming are not going to be able to they're not going to be able to have that. They're either going to have to assimilate or they're just not going to make it. Because the thing is like, this is what whoever they is, I don't know who's in charge of all of this shit, but this is what they want. It's like they want division. They want people to be stupid. Mm-hmm. They want like, what is the easiest way to get control of people? It's to make people stupid and divided. It's to rile people up and to make people upset over the smallest things that don't even exist, things that only exist in their mind, only exist on the screen. So that's the whole point. And then when we're arguing about stupid shit, they can do whatever they want. and progress however they want and make us addicted to whatever they want and start working on things that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I have no idea who they is. I have no idea what the plan is, but I do know that it's probably going to involve technology. It's probably going to involve humans not really... We're not going to matter much in the next 100 years, I don't think.
If you've
we're going to matter solely for the purpose
Westworld,
of...
you need to watch fucking Westworld.
And Ready Player One.
Westworld is weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta watch Ready Player One.
Westworld
it's literally like Ready Player One.
Okay.
It is.
Westworld is just a trippy show. If you guys haven't seen Westworld, the point of it is basically people can pay a shit ton of money. Humans in the human world can pay a shit ton of money to go to this place called Westworld, where they interact with artificial intelligence that is completely indistinguishable from actual human beings, and you can fuck them and kill them and whatever, and it's fully legal. You can literally do whatever you want to these artificial intelligent creatures, and they go on these story loops unless a civilian, an actual human, interacts with them, and then they'll go take them on this journey or whatever.
Yeah, sounds
and
crazy.
what happens in the show is things start getting a little weird. Obviously, watch the show. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's what Westworld is. And I also believe there are these theories that people say that the future is always unfolded in things. There's never a surprise in what is going to happen to us in the future. They show it in books or movies or whatever. And I think a lot of the books that were, strangely enough, required readings in my childhood schools and in middle school and high school, they were all very dystopian novel books, and all of the shows that we've been watching and the movies that have been coming out, things like Westworld. And it's very... It's
Like
a
Black-
warning.
Black
It's just a
Mirror?
warning.
It's
yeah,
warning
Black
signs.
Mirror.
People
Right.
know where it's going.
It's all just. It's you can tell. It's it's
Hollywood
almost
knows.
The biggest
it's
thing
almost obvious, or they don't know, or whoever's running Hollywood knows. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I do. I'm it's almost just yeah, whatever. But it's there. I don't think that. I think the whole point is they're trying to tell us that this is what we're doing, and we're too stupid or scared or in denial to actually understand that it's this is real and it's happening.
Well, the thing about him too is we're 4 years apart, right? And it's crazy how our worlds are so different, even though we are so close together in age and in what we do. And even with us, he hopped on the Instagram trend when I was in college, and I was Instagram is not a thing. It's stupid. It's scary. People know where the fuck you are if you have an Instagram. We were on the Facebook, MySpace grind or whatever. Twitter. It was Facebook, Twitter, and MySpace still. And he was oh, I'm going to go on Instagram. I'm well, that's dumb. Then people can track you. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's famous on Instagram and I'm an absolute nobody. But he also grew up with those trends. So I feel he trusted a little bit more. Whereas I am a little bit more reserved because I just see the reliance on it all. And it's not that it's a bad thing. I do think that there's a lot of ways that you can use AI, but like you said, it gets to a point where people just that are growing up with it now, they're not going to know any different.
You're a late adopter.
Yeah.
But
people
my
that are
question
growing up with it now that are younger than him, they don't know any
Yeah,
different.
but then I have a question for you. When do you get out of, when do you say, I'm done with this and I'm going to get out of social media? This is too weird for me. Or I'm going to there's no such thing as going off the grid anymore, but in the most
I don't think
idealistic way that you can go off the grid, when is it for you? When do you draw the line?
I don't think I can.
So you
even though I hate it so much, I'm gonna have to figure it the fuck out.
So you're just a fucking hypocrite.
No, even though, what am I gonna do? But see, that's the thing. But that's the thing, though. That's the thing. That's the worst part about all of this is you literally don't have a fucking choice.
You can. I mean you can essentially you could, dude. I could
all three
own
of our businesses are completely online.
Yeah, but I mean, I could hypothetically speaking, fucking work at a coffee shop in the middle, the most remote a third world country.
Yeah, I could learn to wholesale houses and just never talk to
I could move to a third world country and just work at a restaurant and wait tables and live in my own version of
there's
peace.
A shit ton of advantages of social media, period. The amount of people that I keep in contact with that are not in Florida is insane because of the sports that we do. And same thing with you and the connections and business connections and whatever.
It's choose your hard.
Yeah, get it, it's definitely a good tool to have, but it's just scary that literally everything that we do now and the businesses that we were even talking about earlier and future plans that we want to do, do not exist without the use of being online. Yeah. And then we got into a whole conversation where it's like, okay, so now we rely so much on being online that we don't even want to fucking be online for pleasure anymore.
Yeah.
It like takes everything away. It's like
I don't scroll on like Instagram or like okay, so TikTok. I do. I definitely scroll through TikTok because TikTok is 15 seconds. But me and Tracy had talked about this. It's the average person probably watches 20 videos on TikTok, at least 20 videos because
at one time
20
That's
videos.
Insane.
Yeah,
and their TikTok videos are about 15 to a minute long. You're on there for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. When you're going to the bathroom, you bring your phone in. You're never like in the moment anymore. I remember when I'm a huge video game head, and I remember when I used to go play video games with my friends. It was like you would turn on the game, and you would talk to your friends, and even when you're like in the pregame lobby or like you're editing classes or you're doing something in that game for that hour, that 2 hours, that 3 hours, or how long you're in that game with your friend, and that's all you're really talking about and stuff. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, it's like, okay, I'm in the pregame lobby waiting for me to play this game. I'm just going to go on my phone on TikTok and go scroll what's happening on this side of the world. It's still like what's going on. It's like, okay, I'm training, I'm going through my music, let me pop on like something real quick. Like it was that easy to do it, and I came to a realization. I was like, holy shit, like why am I like on the computer for 5 hours? Because
we can't be doing
I'm only doing 2.5 hours of actually playing video games with my friend, but in my mind I think like I'm not actually spending that whole time with him. Mm-hmm. I'm spending only that 2 hours out of the 5 hours in the game, the rest doing something else on the computer, looking at a Twitch video on the computer, looking at a YouTube video, or just like always having my mind on other shit.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever noticed throughout your days, like when was the last time you ever went somewhere without your phone?
Nowhere.
Right.
Nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere.
That's what we're talking about. It's like
when was the last time you just went on a walk without your phone?
Never.
Yeah, no.
Like we were talking about this the other day. Like it's gotten to the point where we have realized that, and it sucks to the point where like I want to go on. I almost like want to have the want to go on Instagram and look at what my friends are posting, because that used to be the thing, and now it's like I go on Instagram, I immediately post about Flocker, Polar, Junk Brands, and Clean Freaks, and I get off. Unless I like go on Instagram and I look up your shit, I don't see anybody's stuff, because why do I want to be on my phone doing that? It's like gross to me. I'm like, holy shit, like I could be sitting here for literally hours just scroll. I literally have to go on and like physically type in people's names because I won't see them for a while, because I just stopped going on Instagram anymore. Because it's not fun. It like takes all the fun away from it, because you become so reliant. It's like, holy shit, like I haven't gone on a walk by myself in literally forever.
That's a deep ass question.
No,
I don't think, even when I go take shits. Yeah. Sorry, my language. Even when I go to the bathroom,
we cuss all the time on this podcast.
But I have to. Even when I go in the shower, like I have to play music. Even when I like go, like I never. And the weirdest thing is because I feel like there's a part of me missing, and I'll be completely honest with you. I just feel like I can't.
It's a nervous
call
tick.
This, I can't do this. No one really knows where I'm at, or
it's like a security blanket for people.
Weird. It's weird.
It's like, when you have a blankie as a kid, like everyone's phones are their blankie. For me, I've gotten a lot better about it. I think when I started meditating when COVID was happening, I stopped going on my phone a lot during COVID. And I just remember feeling super peaceful, very clear-headed, and I just felt way more positive. Like I was in way better moods. And then obviously life picks up, and like my business started taking off more, and I had to use social media more. And I mean, life happens, right?
Yeah.
But I still would try and practice awareness of the fact that I couldn't go without my phone. Mm-hmm. Like I would be aware of the fact that I'd grab my phone and I would take it to the bathroom with me, or I'd grab my phone and I'd go on a walk with it. And so now I've started implementing things where I'll practice like leaving my phone on a walk, or I'll practice like when I go to yin yoga classes, my phone stays in the cubby. Like I don't bring it into the room with me. Whenever I train jujitsu, I was noticing that I would not even leave work when I was at jiu-jitsu, like in between drills with my partner, I would go check my phone and make sure my clients were good. And I had to start practicing, like, I'm not going to touch my phone until the end of jiu-jitsu today, because guess what? This is my fucking hour. Like, I have an hour at jiu-jitsu, so my clients are good. Like, they'll be fine for an hour. So for me, it's through meditation and yoga and that kind of thing, and being in the sauna and like meditating in the sauna and stuff. That's helped me practice the art of being present. And it kind of just also helps me keep everything together through all this, because it's like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're going to go back in time and that technology is going to start go on pause, because it won't. It just won't. It's just always going to be able to pause myself with technology, to be able to take myself away from technology for a second and have these moments where I can be like, this is life, and this is what I perceive life to be, and this perception of what life is, which is what I consider the real world, is more freeing to me, and it makes me feel better. And so I'm going to exist here for a while before I go back onto technology, which could be well and good actual reality. I don't know. I really have no idea. But this form of reality is very pleasant for me, and so I'm gonna be here for a while, and then I'll go back to technology, because I have to do it. Like, I mean, I think that's why, honestly, Trass, you enjoy your run so much, is because you
I don't take my phones on my run.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you might have it in your pocket if you have to.
No, I don't. I keep it in the car.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, that's probably, I think, I hypothesize that's why you enjoy your run so much, is obviously you get positive endorphins when you're running and you sweat, you're in the sun and it feels good and you're outside. But again, like, that's you interacting with your perception of what a beautiful reality is, which is what you perceive as to be real life, and you do it without technology by your side.
Yeah. And I just good. Like enjoy the outdoors, and I enjoy the time by myself, and like I can think freely. And like, you don't rely on like, I don't rely on what my phone is telling me or what I have to do for my job, and consistently look like and my job is also different too. Like, I look at a computer screen for 8 hours at a time. Like on last Tuesday, there's like stuck. Like, I literally sit there and I have to stare at a fucking computer.
I'm kind of stuck.
You're not stuck.
Everything I do
is online, but you can always have breaks.
Everything.
But you can have breaks.
But the only breaks I used to have is I used to go to the baseball field and hit baseball.
See, but but going back to,
you guys start doing that again.
Well, no, but going back to the social media thing. Remember when we were talking, you were like, I think our last podcast episode, you were talking about how you're like, a lot of influencers, it's very depressing because everything that they do, even when they're not on their phone, they're thinking about making content.
Yeah.
I think that you should start practicing being like, I'm going to have or planning, maybe like, these are the times I make content and these are the times I don't make content, and you have to like strictly be like, my phone is away, like, put it in a drawer and lock that
that's
shit.
Why I enjoy because obviously I play video games a lot, right? But I play video games a lot for the reason why is because I play video games when I stream. And then there's times where I'm just playing video games to fucking disconnect.
Right.
And it's like...
But is that really disconnecting, though?
Yeah. There's a thing that it's like...
I don't agree, but...
See, I don't feel like that's really disconnecting,
but
because
that's
you're still...
you. It's like your disconnect is probably like jiu-jitsu, or like going to do something, or like your hobbies, or like stuff. It's like my disconnect and like me actually not thinking about anything in this fucking world is going on the computer and just... playing my games.
Yeah.
You guys might hate it, but that's you. Like, I would
I have guy friends that are like that.
I don't feel a disconnect of me going hitting baseballs than me playing video games. I still will think about the real world. I'll still go on my phone and stuff. But if I'm actually just playing my game and not talking to anybody, I have no anxiety. I am literally disconnected and I feel so good. And I don't know, it's just it's a thing. And that's why a lot of people think, like, a lot of people hate gaming too, because they're like, oh, you're so into the game, but it's an actual disconnect.
How did you like the trip to Jersey?
It was awesome. It was okay. I felt how do I put this in words? It was amazing. I felt home. Okay. But I wanted to leave. It was like it felt like I was on vacation for 6 months and I was home, but I wanted to move the fuck away.
How did you feel?
But I think it was just.
But how did you feel? How did you feel like when we were going out and we were like, when we were at the casinos and like, was it enjoyable? Was it not enjoyable for you?
It was definitely enjoyable, but there's just, I just know that's not really something like I wouldn't do it all the time. That's why I don't go out. That's like people's disconnects is they go out, like go to bars and they go out and do stuff. Like I enjoyed it because I haven't seen my friends in a while.
Well, my whole thing with disconnecting, my whole argument with disconnecting is like, there's things that I do to really, like, I'll listen to podcasts and I'll also feel sometimes like I'm, I guess you could say, disconnecting from technology and social media and my work and whatever. But I don't consider that actually disconnecting from all of technology in and of itself. Yeah. That's my whole argument. It's like I have things that I do on my phone that I also feel are relaxing. However, there are moments when I'm completely away from my phone. Yeah. Like even my yin yoga classes, like if I go to a yin yoga class, it's different than if I look it up on a video because I'm still interacting with technology.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's a huge difference of like you being on a video game, like, and I say this to Stefan all the time too. I'm like, you being on a video game versus you like sitting outside and like taking the world in is two completely different things. And that's not to say like when I go on my runs, yes, I don't have my phone and I might be doing all this weird shit in my head and thinking of like multiple things and I'm not like completely relaxed. However, I'm taking myself out of a comfort zone that I'm in, which for you, your comfort zone and your disconnect is video games, and that is beautiful. But also I think that a lot of people, not just you, but I'm saying like a lot of people do miss that chance once a day to get away completely from everything. And I think that that's what kind of keeps people whole. And that's why technology, even though it's my fucking job and I graduated with a degree in it, is literally scary for me because it's like it literally controls you to think and feel that your disconnect is to still rely on technology.
Well, so
and that's for example, that is like scary as shit. So
what do you mean by disconnect? So like, there's a thing. So for
that's
me,
what I'm saying. There's a difference between
disconnect, right? My disconnect is literally just not thinking about anything like my job. So when you say like,
let's specify disconnecting from technology in and of it altogether.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like when you say disconnect and you're like, oh, so when I say I go on video games, because like when you say you listen to podcasts or like you say, why don't you go outside or something? When I go outside, I start getting in my thoughts of what I can be doing with my job, too. Right?
Yeah,
or like, or like when you say you listen to podcasts, if I start to listen to podcasts, I start thinking of more content ideas that I need to involve into my job. So I'm not actually disconnecting. But when I'm playing video games, right? During that video game time, I'm not thinking of any way how to improve my business, any way I'm hearing something that I can include into my life. I'm literally disconnecting. And I'm literally just...
You're turning it off.
I'm turning like
I don't
everything
think there's
off.
an issue with when you shut technology. This is the thing. When you're on technology, you are distracted. Like whether you think you're distracted or not, you're distracted. You are completely avoiding your own thoughts.
It's a Band-Aid.
Because you are connecting with other people's thoughts. So when you are off technology, that's why all of your thoughts start to come in. That's why you start to think about your job and content and stuff like that. That's why usually when I do take time away from it, I'll have like a journal with me or a piece of paper with me that I can write things down, because my brain actually begins to start to like unravel all of the shit. I almost feel like it's like built up shit that I haven't let it think. And so like what tends to happen is, it's like you have this brain vomit that goes on for 5 or 10 or 20 minutes. And then after all of that happens, it's like, like it's like the stomach settle after you have like a stomach bug. Like it's just like you feel so good. And that's why I remember I went to these Christian camps when I was younger, and they would take our phones for the whole week. And I remember on the camp feeling so connected to like God and my friends and like feeling so positive. And this isn't to like discredit people who are religious or whatever, but I thought it was like, it's because God. And I was like, no, it's actually not because God. It's because I'm connecting with humans on a deeper level, and I don't have technology distracting me anymore. And it's like a complete cleanse. And so it was like, for me, it was like, it took me 5 camps to realize. I was like, oh, it's not God. Like God is cool, and I do believe in a higher power, and I think it's a beautiful thing that you can connect with a group of people on one thing like that. But it wasn't God that made me feel so good. It was the fact that I could be away from everything on my phone. And I mean, like when you're just around us, right? Like it's just us right here right now. It's like all I have the option to do is focus on you guys. That's why everyone likes podcasting so much. is because like all I have is the opportunity to talk with you all. And it makes me feel like I've connected with you guys on a deeper level. Whereas when when we're sitting here, I don't think we'd have as good of a conversation as we would if we weren't podcasting right now, because you check your phone and I check my phone, and then maybe I just stop talking to you guys and I start scrolling on TikTok, and then maybe I interject back in the conversation, and it's a good conversation, but it's a more broken up and uninvolved conversation. Whereas what we're doing right now is it's like we're here right now. And this is kind of the beautiful thing about technology. This is where it intertwines with human nature very well, is we take this and we upload it, and other people get to now join in, and they get to begin to feel as if they're connecting with us on a deeper level. That's the coolest thing about the podcast, is that we've had guests come back and they enjoy it so much, right? And then we've also had people who listen in and they're like, honestly, I feel like I'm there with you guys. I feel like I can converse with you guys while we're on this podcast. And it's like, that's what a good fucking podcast is. And that's the beauty of human nature and interacting with technology. This is like the exciting thing about technology. Is it's like, cool, I get to now talk to the 150 to 500 to whatever, and people end up listening or downloading this episode, really, because they're all listening to this and interacting. Like, have you ever listened to a podcast episode and paused the podcast episode to interject your own point into the conversation?
All the time.
Those, like, that's how you know it's a good podcast. I think that's
like you're there and you're just talking to them.
That's what's so.
At you,
and I think like also like, because I've talked to Stefano about this too, with him saying that like he disconnects like through like video games, and like to your point, like there's a huge difference between like disconnecting and like completely shutting it off versus disconnecting entirely and allowing yourself to have your own thoughts. Because at the end of the day, like for me, at the end of the day, no matter what you disconnect quote unquote through, life still happens, life still moves on, and your problems are still going to be there. And like the only way for you to be able to handle your problems is for you to be able to sit by yourself and to be able to figure them out. And there's no way to do that if you're constantly putting a band-aid over what the fuck is going on around you. So like, yes, sitting down and playing video games is a lot of fun, and I play video games all the time too, but like I can't play video games and disconnect for hours and hours and hours on end. Like Stefano will sit on a video game, you'll sit on a video game for 5, 6, 8 hours literally, and just like disconnect from the world, and as soon as that game's off, all your problems are still there. And there is nothing left except for you and your phone to scroll on and just like procrastinate even more, and then get back on the video game and procrastinate even more. And then all of a sudden you have all of this shit that's going on around you, and you never stepped outside and just like appreciated life and took your own thoughts and been able to be like, okay, it's me versus me, and I have to figure it out.
Me versus me.
Me versus me, bitch.
Go over the valleys. Go over the
But no, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like the part, like to tie into where I was saying like it becomes so reliant, is like type anything you want into the fucking chat. Here's my problem, and there's an answer. Like,
well, there's a
you,
self-destructive nature to complete and total dissociation, and I think that's the fear of AI, is that people will rely on AI so much that they will completely and totally dissociate from their own bodies. And then we will fully assimilate with AI. I mean, that's the future of...
We're running into that now. People are relying on computers and technology for everything.
Well, then they avoid
like,
who
even
they
with
are
your
as
job, like,
being.
how do you think, like people are going to become fully reliant on social media, I feel like, period? Like, us literally typed in when to post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, you think everybody and their brother's just going to become famous?
Well, it's how many people apply to it. Everyone can become a social media influencer. Every single person in this world can be a social media influencer if they put all their time into it. Like,
bring that mic a little closer to you.
Literally everyone can be an online personal trainer and write programs if they like wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, everyone can go into ChatGPT and you can write what you want, but are you gonna do it every day? No. Are you gonna stay consistent with it? No. It's like there's always those people that need someone there.
So you think it's gonna make you think it's gonna make life like realistically, obviously everybody's gonna have to start using this shit because we don't have a fucking choice. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So like, do you think it's gonna actually make life any easier? Or you think it's gonna be harder because everybody's just gonna be battling against each other? I think everyone's gonna have all the same answers.
I think it's gonna advance. I think it's definitely just gonna advance you, and this is where it comes down to you to do your own research and your own knowledge on it, because it's like you can write one thing into ChatGPT and you can take that, but also you can take that one thing from ChatGPT and you can type 1,000 other things about that one topic and get a bunch of knowledge in from it. So it's like you can write what the difference is between type 1 type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers, and you can get a summary, or you can write in, give me 5 cited studies about type 1 muscle fibers and what it's used for and all this stuff. So that's where it starts to rely on you. You can ask it
you have to ask the right questions.
Right questions.
It's just
start
the
to
difference
pick the
between
questions. Start to like actually do your own research through ChatGPT, because that's what you do through Google. Like we said, it's like you don't click on the first link. You read and research, pick up things that they're saying through different articles, research what's in that article, and that's where you get your knowledge
What
from.
will happen is likely they're going to change the structure of homework assessments, essay writings, grading
absolutely.
papers. It's going to probably be all oral presentation.
Even when we were growing,
but that's what we wanted. It's like, honestly, I think we're going to back teachers into a corner that we want them to be in, which is what a lot of people have argued in the classroom, which is more interactive discussion, group projects.
Dude, when I was in
we all saw
It's all oral. It's all a Socratic. Like, it's a Socratic type of learning environment, which is one of, I think, the most quality learning environments you can be in, is you are in a group of people and you are discussing things, and then you go research your separate things, and then you orally present what your findings. I mean, ChatGPT, you can't do anything with that. You can go research things like you would on Google on this AI format, and it might make your learning process faster because it filtrates through things more efficiently. So that's where I think it would become more efficient. However, I don't think that people are going to. Everyone is going to be stupid if they want to be stupid and lazy. Yeah. If you're stupid and lazy, you're going to do it whether this artificial intelligence is there or not.
Yeah,
all it does is further encourage stupid and lazy people. You've always had stupid and lazy people in your school.
Yeah,
you've always had the cheating motherfuckers.
There's going to be the type of people. There's going to be people who use it as, okay, you're in school, you have a question. For example, it's like, write me a essay about World War II. You're going to have that kid that goes onto this website and takes that. And you're going to have the kids that are actually advanced in life, and they're going to read throughout what ChatGPT said, and they're going to research throughout it and come to their own sense, like own knowledge, and write their own thing. And I mean,
knowledge is passed on knowledge.
If you think deep down about it, when I was in college, right, or high school and stuff, Quizlet. Like Quizlet, Study Island, all these things that were online, right? I cheated, right? I found the answers on Google. Right. I was one of those that took the easy way out. But there's those people that actually did their research and did their actually got knowledge to do Quizlet and to do Study Island and to do all of it on their own. And that, I feel that's how it's still going to be. It's like you make your own decisions. You want to be a cheat and you want to be lazy, then you're going to take that route. But
I think the only thing that sucks though is that, like, the only thing that honestly sucks is, like, back in the day, like, we all fucking cheated. Like, I cheated too, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, back in the day, you were able to kind of, like, weed out the people that were cheating and the people that weren't cheating. But now, with the way the technology is, it's almost like people can try their fucking hardest to use their own sense of what it populated for you and then write their own essays. And then you have the people that just take it and cheat, and you're never going to know the fucking difference.
Yeah, you will.
They're all the same.
But this is what I was saying again, Trass, is like they're going to change the structure of how they do essays, oral, like how they grade
oral
things.
Shit, because we used to do that all the time, and that was hard as fuck.
Well, it's challenging because it's actual real
oral
learning.
Presentations are hard.
If you can't teach it, you don't understand it. Yeah. So there, and also I think it's like a weak argument to say that you're going to weed through it and learn it yourself. It's like, to me, it's like all knowledge is passed on knowledge. All knowledge is learned knowledge. Most of it, all knowledge is acquired from something else. Like, how much knowledge have you derived from your own brain? Like,
Zero.
how many new innovative things have you? Right.
Yeah.
It's like all things that we've created from our own conscious experience, and through the experience of other people.
Knowledge means like taking something that you learn and like creating your own essay and your own word.
But all this is to me is just another way to efficiently filtrate through knowledge that has been provided to us. So this doesn't freak me out at all, because it's like it's just making the learning process more efficient, and then it's the school's job to now shift the format of learning so that it is still something that's effective for kids in schools.
Yeah, and
honestly, Socratic and oral presentation and discussion is I think one of the most effective ways to learn in general. And so I think that if anything, this new thing is beneficial for society.
Yeah, so there's a way you can either take it and you can be scared from it and think that it's actually just going to because if you're scared of it, you're affecting you. You think it's gonna make you stupider.
It is.
Like you think
I'm already dumb.
Like that's what I'm saying. But that's you. That's like you're not really like thinking past that and thinking how you can actually use this to advance your life or actually make you smarter.
Right.
Like there's for some reasons like you could probably learn so many studies about hybrid athlete training that you had no idea about. Like you can type in there and you can actually make yourself smarter about the hybrid training programs that you're doing and stuff like that. And it advances. Is that stupid? Is it stupid that you can do that in that website? No, because you can do that on Google, but you're going to have to go through a billion different pages or the people that paid to be on those articles.
Yeah, so the Pareto distribution, it's the idea that
so it's like
that
it's how
one
you
thing
use
always
it.
it's the idea that one thing always accumulates in the smallest percentage, right? Like so the most wealth exists in the smallest populations, and then it's just kind of assimilates out among society. Same with like the mass in the universe. Same thing with intelligence. Like
listen, don't get me wrong. I think that you could definitely use it for good. I'm just saying, like it's scary as shit.
It comes down to like how stupid. Remember directions,
scared,
like directions. Like if you wanted to, if you got a new camera, or
so
you wanted to put,
efficient.
if you wanted to put something together. Are you gonna read the directions, or are you gonna go on YouTube and you're gonna watch someone do it?
It's more efficient,
of course.
Right. So,
but that exactly literally proves my point. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like what I was saying early when we first had this conversation. Remember, I used like a calculator as an example, and you were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because for everything that we've ever had that had some sort of advance to it, it took something away from what you were doing, which is just my overall point. Which like, it
what
makes
did
people
a calculator take away from fucking people?
Because
long division?
Why do you need to think?
Long division.
But exactly, but fuck long division, exactly. Nobody wants to do that shit, but I'm just saying as an example, like, it makes you more efficient. Listen, bitch, it makes you more efficient, but it also makes you dumb.
In my calculator. I can play games, bitch.
Exactly. You're proving my point, ho. Jesus Christ.
She's trying to argue that like so like
that's
takes
literally
away
my point.
Like knowledge. So back in the day,
something makes you smarter and more efficient, but it also takes something away. Which
and in my opinion,
you're not gonna give a fuck about nothing.
But in my opinion,
that's the end game. I'm moving on my own fucking island, bitches.
Listen.
I'm out.
All right, hold on.
I gotta go, you guys, and the battery's about to die on my computer.
This is where you get to, right? This is where you're in your own head because you're like a calculator. It like, what is it used for? Fuck. Now I lost my train of thought because you're freaking arguing and stuff. Because you made such a point that I can argue with.
Okay,
it's so easy.
This is what I said.
Okay, listen. Oh no, time. Okay, she's like, in my thing, you're saving so much time.
Yeah,
and her thing, she's like, why? I'm like, okay, so you would rather take 10 minutes on a long division problem, right? 10 minutes and get your answer. But in her head, it thinks that you're smarter because you know how to fucking do long division. Instead of putting it into a calculator and it 2 seconds. It's not going to make or break you as a person.
No one wants to do long division. I'm just using it as an example.
You don't even read.
No, I don't want to fucking read. It makes you more efficient, but it also makes me stupid because why shouldn't I be fucking reading? Why shouldn't I be just doing the fucking math? Why shouldn't I just be thinking about the problem and figuring it out?
Why shouldn't you do long division?
Advance.
No, it was an example.
We advance. It's called advancing.
It was an example.
It's called advancing.
I'm moving on my own fucking
fuck do you think we still build houses with like fucking clay and brick and shit? Why do we do that? Why don't we use by machines and shit? No, we don't build houses by fucking hand and fucking just like we use machines and shit. Yeah, let's keep building fucking pyramids. Let's keep building pyramids.
Yo, thanks. Thank you, Cornelius, for coming on this podcast.
Can we cut it?
Yo, listen.
We're done.
When we get home,
can we cut like the last 5 minutes?
We're done.
When we
can we finish this up?
You guys.
Can we cut the last 5 minutes because we just started arguing about dumb shit?
You guys.
All I know is that
my computer's gonna die and this is gonna get lost.
Let's do an ending. Cut like the last 5 minutes.
No, we're not gonna cut the last 5 minutes. This is great. I think that we should go get some food and watch about the pyramids because I saw that they were built on due north. And they were built without any calculators and anything. So I think we should
those
watch
pyramids, they were fucking. They had to get them like 500 miles away.
Yo, Thank you for coming on. This has been a great BarTalk episode.
We're aliens!
And I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
We're aliens!
Wait, was this muted the whole time?
No. Hello? Goodbye. Oh my god, what are we doing?